Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Song Radio Show, Red Pill Edition. My name is Leon Jones. And in this segment, I'm going to have to call out all of the ignorance I've seen regarding this coronavirus. So, the title of tonight's topic is Beware of Ignorant People. Beware of ignorant people. Now, I listen to a number of individuals, particularly in the African American sector. And I'm going to say, for you African Americans out there who are blaming Trump and China for the coronavirus, you need your head examined. You can look things up on Google all you want. Google doesn't give you everything. If you need to research something, you have to utilize more than one source. Go to the CDC. You have to also understand the content of this virus. Now, for the most part, there's no cure for this virus. And I said in my past video, you have to keep your immune system strong. I said you have to eat fruits, you have to eat vegetables, especially green vegetables. You have to utilize some vitamin C, get proper sleep. Furthermore, you have to keep your health up. Now, I'm just going to be frank with you. I believe that a lot of people who are ignorant have bought into the media and they become misinformed. And for you individuals out there, don't listen to the misinformed people. They're the stupid ones. They make people like me look smart because they're not using common sense, especially individuals who live in Chicago, New York, LA, and some of these big sanctuary cities. These individuals are your liberals. These individuals are the ones who did not prepare for the coronavirus. They don't prepare for anything that happens because they don't take life seriously. And if you think about it, people in Chicago, LA, New York, Baltimore, DC, Philadelphia, you got bigger fish to fry. You also better worry about that crime that's going to start coming along when it gets hot, because niggas going to start shooting one another. You also better understand that there are going to be more people dying of other symptoms besides this coronavirus. There are going to be people dying of cancer, whether it's lung cancer, lip cancer, breast cancer. There are going to be people dying of heart disease, high blood pressure. Look, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to end up being one of those persons who are going to be at risk. And let me tell you this. You don't have to be 60 and over. You can be young. The bottom line is, when it comes to the coronavirus, many of us do not know what it is because there's no cure for it. Look, I believe there was H1N1, there was Ebola or E. coli, there was West Nile virus, the common flu, the common cold, there's AIDS, swine flu. Heck, we haven't even cured herpes yet. So if individuals are dying, they're probably dying from something other than the flu or the coronavirus. People die every year from something, whether it's being murdered, whether it's being in an automobile accident, whether it's natural death. We are all going to get our numbers called. But for you individuals out there who are just plain ignorant, blaming this coronavirus on Trump, you're fucked up. You need to know something about politics? Come to people like me. I actually do the research. Number of you blacks out there, you don't understand anything about stocks. The stock market is cyclical. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. It's going to adjust itself. Look, for you African Americans out there who don't understand anything about politics, stay away from it because you look simple trying to get up here on YouTube and talk about the stock market. And when you're blaming Trump for something that happened over in China, I'm going to call you out on it. And at the end of the day, you don't know anything about this virus. You don't know anything about science behind this virus. Because if all you can look at is Google, you haven't done much research. And if you have done research, it's been lazy research. So what I'm going to tell you is this. We've worked up enough hysteria, and at the end of the day, if you didn't prepare yourself, you deserve what you get. Because when your number is called, that's it. We're all going to go. And I think too many people are overblowing this coronavirus. Heck, you got the Democrats out there who can't even pass a stimulus bill in the House because they don't want to get that pork for their donors. So if you guys are out there looking at the Democrats during this election and you vote for these guys, you deserve the government you get. Because the Democrats want monies in there for all their special interest groups, the union bosses, the individuals who are in charge of energy, because there's a lot of radical environmentalists in the Democratic Party. These are the ones who donate a lot of money to Democratic campaigns. And during elections, if you think Biden and crooked ass Bernie are going to do such a better job, you definitely need your head examined. These two individuals are on their last leg. Now, I don't agree with everything that the president does, but it's not his fault about what's going on with the coronavirus. In fact, the person you need to blame are those liberal judges who put a halt to Trump's travel plan back in October. And if you vote for Bernie and if you vote for Biden, again, let me make this clear to you. If you vote for Bernie and if you vote for Biden, these individuals want to keep the borders open. So common sense says if you keep the borders open, what is going to happen? You're going to bring more illegals in here, and they're going to bring their viruses over here. Because we don't know what's going on in those other countries. But I know why the Democrats want the illegals in here, because it's more votes. Folks, you have to open your eyes and ears and be vigilant. If you don't know what you're talking about, ask somebody. I mean, there are a number of idiots out here, like I said, who are blaming the president for the coronavirus. Really? Now, China should have caught it. Absolutely. But are you going to blame yourself for getting the cold? Or are you going to blame the mayor of where you live because there's an epidemic? Heck, Chicago alone has an epidemic. We could blame several Democratic mayors for that city. Same with Baltimore. Same with LA. We have a huge epidemic called black on black crime here in the United States, where 52% of the homicides are caused by black people alone. Do we call that out? No, we don't call it out. What we try to do is put more money into the problem, just like bad education systems in the urban areas. But the people who are doing the most panicking live in these urban areas. What you need to do is to stay in your lane and work with your cities. Because for many of you who are trying to get up here and talk about politics, talk about the election, many of you don't have an idea of what's going on because you don't study it. You're reading from CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all the alphabet channels. When you do proper research, you must look at all sources. Go through the census, go through the CDC. And I don't put all my money on the CDC either because that's a government organization. But to be clear, too many people out here are living in this hysteria. And at the end of the day, Charles Darwin said, only the strong survive. If you take care of yourself, and like I said, you exercise, you take vitamin C, you eat fruits and vegetables, particularly your green vegetables, you get healthy checkups, you keep your blood pressure low, something that is very good to help stabilize your blood sugar is apple cider vinegar. And something else that's good for your skin, and I did a video on it 3 years ago, is black seed oil. You want to know what else is good for your gums as well? Your teeth, cloves, and even vodka. But see, a number of you don't know this because you're busy looking at mainstream media. And let me tell you something about the media. The media is only going to tell you what they want to tell you. This media is for the Democrats. They're not for the average American people. I mean, when we talk about this stimulus bill, now I don't agree with it at all because when the government starts handing out checks, you're going to have one side that believes everybody should get a check. I'm talking about people who are already getting welfare. They don't deserve a check. Now, my proposal to any type of stimulus is reduce the income taxes, cut the payroll tax. Now, I can tell you one good thing about this coronavirus. There are some industries, particularly in the hospitality area, like your cruise line industry, your airline industry, your hotels and restaurants that are completely shut down, but they're also finding new ways to create business. I mean, I live here in Indiana, and a number of the restaurants have high turnout when it comes to drive-through service, when it comes to takeouts. Now, got to ask you this question too. If you look at all the jobs that are falling by the wayside, what gender has most of these jobs? It's women. So what are women going to do? Well, a number of women really don't have any avenue to go, so they're going to use their bodies. And they're going to use their bodies via Instagram and other venues. It's known as soft porn. Because when they get on their last leg, at the end of the day, their body, if it looks good, may help them. But my question during this coronavirus that I have to ask you feminists out there, where are you? How come you're not marching down the streets of Washington with your pink pussy hats on talking about the stimulus bill? You say you're tough. You say you're like Rosie the Riveter. You say you don't need a man. You say you can lead better than a man. I don't see many of you doing it. I mean, look, Chicago has a female mayor. Hasn't gotten any better, and it's not going to get any better. Because I don't care who you put in these cities. You got to change the mindset of the people. And this is the big thing that's going on with this coronavirus. Nothing is going to get done unless we change the mindset of the people. And if you want to take your country back, number one, you need to know about the Second Amendment. You need to know about free speech. And you need to understand how the government works. Now, too many people who are ignorant and misinformed are the ones who have been indoctrinated by government. And the late baby boomers and the Gen Xers and the Zoomers or Generation Z, it's going to get even worse because they've been taught that government is going to be the end all be all. At the end of the day, socialism doesn't work. Capitalism works. You have to be innovative. This is why people in America don't make the same amount of money, because we have different talents, different markets, different demands. But during this coronavirus, what really frightens me most of all is not just the ignorance, it's the desperation of people. And when people get desperate, they'll do anything. And when I say do anything, they're not utilizing critical thinking. They're utilizing emotion because they are fearful of what's going to happen. But in this country, we've had tornadoes, we've had earthquakes, we had 9/11. Did we get through that? Absolutely, we did. But what many of you need to do is grow up, stop blaming the president for the coronavirus, because it's not his fault. He's doing everything that he can do, or that he could do. I'd like to see any one of you take that job. Many of you wouldn't last a day being president. Many of you wouldn't even last a day being part of your student government organization or community leader, because you don't have it in you to lead. You can talk about somebody else, but you can't lead. I remember when I ran for student government, when I was in college, people made fun of me regarding my ideas. But the people who made fun of me were very much misinformed because they didn't have a clue and they didn't have the talent to become president of the student government organization. When I was a steward in the union, when I worked for PennDOT, individuals didn't have any idea of what it took. You know, I do blog talk radio. I had somebody tell me my radio show wasn't good. Well, the person told me my radio show wasn't good because he didn't have the voice like I have. Because I research all of my material. And if I make a mistake, I retract it. But you have a lot of individuals out here who are just fear-mongering. And they're passing that fear-mongering to weak people. And this is what frightens me in a way as well. You have a lot of dumb people who are voting. They don't even know what they're voting for. They vote for what sounds good. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself this. With this coronavirus going on, what would you do? How would you handle it? I'll wait, because a number of you don't have any ideas. Now, again, when it comes to this president, you may not like him. I didn't like a lot of shit Obama did, but he was the president. I respected him. Why? Because he was leader of the so-called free world. But see, a number of you who are misinformed, you don't want freedom. You want the government to control you. And when the government controls you, you lose your freedom. Guess what? You're not going to be under rule in a democratic republic. You're going to be under a dictatorship, where our forefathers created this parliamentary style government so we'd have checks and balances. Well, unfortunately, we don't, because a lot of your politicians are bought by their constituents and lobbyists. But at the end of the day, going back to this coronavirus, you need to understand the coronavirus and other forms of flu symptoms that have taken place in the past. We got through those, and we're going to get through them again, because they're also going to be parts. See, people think individuals are dying of the coronavirus. They're testing positive for it. How do you know it's not the flu? How do you know it's not the common cold? How do you know that their immune system is weak and it contracted these symptoms from other viruses? West Nile virus, bird flu, the regular flu. There's no cure for the common cold. There's no cure for the common flu. But a number of you are sitting up there thinking that you really know what's going on, and you don't. And my thing is, if you're on YouTube and you're talking about women, talk about women. But leave the politics up there to people like myself who do read, who watch the news every day. And I don't watch mainstream media. I get my information from Reuters. I get my information from the actual stocks. I know how the stocks, I know what a stock yield is. I know how the market operates in times of pandemics, because the people on Wall Street, they're also in fear that the stock market is going to crash. It's not going to crash. In fact, something that's not been told, even though certain sectors aren't doing so well, the economy is still holding somewhat strong. And that just depends on what area of the market you're in. The healthcare market is really strong. I'm in engineering. That's very strong. In fact, I still have to go into work. I still work. I live here in Indiana. And when I was outside today, saw a number of individuals walking around. Saw a number of individuals getting carry out. The bottom line is, a number of you are bored because boredom is a choice. Many of you aren't doing anything to try to get an understanding of what this virus is. You're just listening to the media. And my advice to anybody who is listening to the media, stay off the television. Because a number of you are just repeating what you hear on television. And you're creating more fear-mongering. If you are scared, you be scared. But don't scare any other people. We're all going to go. But when it comes to this coronavirus, stop putting out misinformation. Because one thing I notice about Americans today, they're weak. They're gullible. And they're dependent. They don't have any backbone. You can tell them that you can take a pile of shit and make it into gold. A number of Americans will believe it. Why? Because they don't understand the science of shit. They know how to talk shit. They know how to utilize straw man arguments. They know how to get media information, because the media is no friend to us common folk. The media is only friends toward the Democratic Party. And I hated to put politics into this coronavirus, but there is politics going on. And there are going to be a lot of scams going on out here. But me, I'm not going to let this virus get to me. Heck, I know how to get a canister. I know how to get a gas mask. I was in the Navy for 17 years. I had training. I've had my shots. I don't get sick like that. I've taken malaria pills. And a number of my fellow veterans, they understand what's going on too. In fact, being a veteran, I've been in much worse situations than sitting in my own house giving you this information via video. A number of you individuals are in your own house. Can you leave your house? Yes, you can leave your house if you have somewhere to go, but a number of you don't have anywhere to go. Heck, A number of Americans don't even work. They depend on the government. They depend on me to go to work so they can utilize my tax money in the form of welfare payments. But going back to this so-called stimulus bill, I don't agree with giving people checks. I agree with cutting the payroll tax. Because when you give people and working people who deserve the checks, we're going to have some dumb politician that's going to say, well, what about the illegal immigrants? What about the people on welfare? Aren't they part of this epidemic too? Can't they get sick? Yeah, fuck them. They didn't put anything into the system. Yes, do I sound harsh? But we got to learn how to take care of our own folks who are deserving of help. We just don't give our money away to freeloaders here who are then going to translate those freeloading options that they get, and they're not going to spend on anything. They're not going to invest in the economy. They're going to invest in it themselves, or they may use the money for drugs, whatever they use the money for. They're not going to return the money because many of them aren't going to work because they have the idea that they can live free, and nothing is free. So when we talk about the coronavirus, at the end of the day, it's not Trump's fault. Because you could have had Obama in here, you could have had Bush, you could have had Clinton. It still would have been the same. Now, of course, because the media darlings out there love the Democratic Party, they would spin it to make it like Obama's doing great, even if he was doing the same thing Trump was doing. I hear individuals talking about how good Cuomo is doing in New York. Yes, media's talking about how good Cuomo is doing. Well, the only problem with New York is New York City, but all the cities have the same problem. Before the coronavirus, New York City had a lot of poverty, and it's going to continue to have a lot of poverty because the mindset of New Yorkers is this. It's a welfare mindset. And most of your welfare and sanctuary cities are run by Democrats. But when it comes to the coronavirus, it's been enough fear-mongering going on. Number, you need to grow up. You need to look at what's going on. Be vigilant. But when it comes to politics, some of you Negroes out there don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea of how the market works because you've been a worker all your life. You hadn't studied stocks. Now, if you have a 401k plan, you need to eye the market. If you have stocks, you need to eye the stocks. Now, one stock that you can still invest in right now is the energy stock. If you look at gas, normally gas would be going up this time of year. I got gas for $1.54 in Lebanon, Indiana. That's as cheap as I've seen it. And gas in most of Indiana is below $2. And we still have the coronavirus going on. So there are some sectors of the economy that are doing great. But you're not going to be told that by the media because the media darlings are there to create mass hysteria. And a number of you individuals who are misinformed believe what the media tells them. Because there's some people who report what the media tells them right here on YouTube. Some in the black sector, haven't been in the other sectors. And a number of them in the black sector are female. Because most of the men do their research here. Females don't. Because the females are all about government, particularly black females. They believe in government. So, government is not going to save you. You have to save you. But the only way you can save you is you have to understand what's going on around you. Don't listen to the media, because the media is only going to create mass hysteria. And at the end of the day, you're still going to be where you started. In other words, if you don't know anything about what's going on, you're still not going to know anything unless you're very vigilant. So, folks, stop listening to the media. Stop listening to the government. Look at what's going on around you and be vigilant. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And I have another channel out there too. If you want to know more about what's going on with the science of the coronavirus, check out my channel. You should be coming to my channel, The Mind of STEM, because on that channel, I give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Also, I have a Blog Talk radio show. Guest calling number is 215-383-5785. You can come listen to that show because I give you a lot of information on what's going on. And if you can't find me on YouTube, I post all of my videos on Facebook and Twitter, because at the end of the day, be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And just want to fill you in on more information. The coronavirus will go away. It takes a long time to find vaccinations, but too many of us are addicted to drugs anyway. Drugs only cure the symptoms. What you're going to have to do, again, regarding the coronavirus, is you're going to have to keep building your immune system up. So you're going to have to utilize vitamin C, more green vegetables, and fruits, and exercise, and proper sleep. The only way you're going to defeat the coronavirus is you got to weather the storm. And that concludes this video right here on the 411 Talk Zone radio show. Just want to say, have a wonderful and blessed night. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. God bless you. I'm out.